Okay, brand new experiment. I have it here in front of me, and we're going to do it live together. At least set it up, and then we'll see the results in a couple weeks. But the first thing I need to do is share my second camera. So, extra camera, and let's make sure I pick the right one. There we go. So you should see a second camera come into the call. There we go. And I'm going to tuck myself away so we have this nice big camera view. Okay, so I was thinking about what to do for an experiment, and with it being fall, and I interviewed someone the other day who talked to me about the world's loneliest plant. And that got me thinking about something she said in the interview, is that oftentimes we ignore plants. We think about the animals because they're big, they move around, we like the way that they look, but we forget that plants are living things as well, and that they are incredibly important to the ecosystem. They're the primary producers of energy, taking energy from the sun and converting it into sugars that could be eaten by herbivores and omnivores, and then they in turn are eaten by carnivores. So we forget about our plants sometimes. And today what I want to talk about is photosynthesis and how plants breathe. And we can't see that. It's not like us where we make a noise, we can put a hand in front of our mouth and we can feel air coming in and out. It's much harder to see with plants. But with today's experiment, very easy for you to try in your classrooms, we're going to talk a little bit about how plants breathe. So we have to talk about photosynthesis. So plants take two things. They take sunlight and they take carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and they bring that in, and then they convert it to some things that are really cool. Oxygen, which we need to breathe, and then sugars like glucose, which then can be eaten as energy sources for herbivores. So that's what's going on with photosynthesis. We're taking the sunlight, we're taking the carbon dioxide, and then the plants convert it into glucose and oxygen, which is pretty cool because those are two things that we very, very much need. So for today's experiment, we're going to try and see if we can see plants breathe. And what we need to do that are some clear containers. So I have one, I have two, I've got three, and I have four. I told you today's going to be really easy. There's not a lot of supplies that we need to make today work. I have these bowls filled with a little bit of water, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I went out this morning and I gathered some leaves and a few different kinds so we can see things in a few different ways. I have this maple leaf. This is one that hasn't changed color yet. It's still alive, was taken right from the tree. I'm going to put it into this first one. So I'm going to put it in. There it is. I took this one, which fell off of the same tree. This one is changed color and it's fallen off. So I want to see if a leaf that's no longer on the tree is still breathing or producing oxygen. So I'm going to put this in the far one. There we go. I wanted to mix things up a little bit, so I got an evergreen. This is a cedar. These aren't going to change color or fall off. So I'm curious what things will be like with a conifer. We also call them evergreens. So I'm going to put that into this one. And then I took one more. This is from a hosta. And this one hasn't changed color yet. I took this right off of the plant. And I'm going to put it into, let me put it upside down because it's got this piece sticking up. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just with some rocks, I'm going to weigh it down so the leaf is submerged underwater. So I'll submerge that one. I'll submerge this one. We will do this group. And then this one. Now, what I'm going to do after our call today is I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to bring them upstairs and I'm going to put them in the window where the sun can shine on them. Now, this is a slow experiment in that it'll be several hours before you see some results, but I want you to look very carefully and watch after a few hours and see if there are something being produced on these leaves. So you might have to look very carefully. If you have a magnifying glass in your classroom, that could help as well. So I want you to take a look at these leaves after a few hours. So try to get some live ones that are nice and green. Also, try one like this one here that has fallen off and see if there's a difference. And if you really want to get creative, try from like a conifer In this case, this is from a cedar. So that is our experiment. We're going to find out if we can see plants breathing. And that's why we put them in this water. And then we are going to leave it in the sun for a few hours. And then we want to see your pictures. Take pictures of your results. Send them to us at classroom@darwin200.com. You have 2 whole weeks to work on this experiment. There is not many materials, some glass containers, leaves from outside, and some rocks. So this should be pretty easy for everybody to do and to give a try. We want to see at classroom@darwin200.com, and then we'll have a chance at some prizes for you as well. Okay, let's get my other camera back here and running. There we go. And we'll turn off this one.